Alright, so I don't usually do reaction videos, but I thought I'd do one to this because it's something that I'm definitely going to have some very valid input on. It is a 39-minute, damn near 40-minute video from International Zoe on his honest opinion on Pattaya, Thailand. Now, this is going to be interesting to watch. I've read a lot of the comments already, and I can see based on the comments that it seems like he's going to get into some real shit. He's claiming he's keeping it 100. I have not watched it at all. So this is genuinely just going to be a first time reaction. I will be pausing it periodically at any point where I feel as though he's saying something that I want to comment on, you know, either to agree or disagree or whatever. Now, just for some context, I literally just got back from Pattaya, like, what, a day ago now, 2 days ago. At the time of making this, it is, what, the 17th of May? My flight back to London was the 15th. So just a couple things to clarify, just in case, you know what I'm saying, there's people who are watching this and are like, who is this nigga? Like, I've traveled to Pattaya since 2022. I was originally meant to go there in 2019, but I was a student. I was young, too broke. I was like, I'll go in 2020. We see how that worked out. So yeah, I didn't unfortunately get to go until 2022 because I refused to take the fucking jab. And because of that, you couldn't enter the country until that year. So, yeah, that was my first time traveling there. Been there 4 times. I'm going to be going there more times. And I'm one of the people where I saw it for where it was immediately. I've never had any like much illusions about it. And I really, really fucking dislike dudes who do present bullshit. I've made a couple videos in the past addressing it. Just talking about how I disagree with how dudes is wifing up pros and, you know, parading pros around like there's something to be desired and wanted. And I was saying that before my most recent trip, but I'm telling you now, after my most recent trip, where I also went to Japan, I also went to Korea, and then I finished with Thailand, I can tell you right now that a lot of these guys out here in Asia in general are not doing it like they claim they're doing it, okay? They're not. Like, not just Thailand, like Korea, Japan, like, they're not. That being said, though, there are a lot of guys who are doing decently and doing well for themselves. Like, it's not all front, it's not all capping. It's just funny how I've noticed that typically the guys who are doing better don't seem to be broadcasting it as heavily as the niggas who's fake. The dudes who ain't really doing it the way how they're presenting it to you as though they're doing it, they're the ones usually broadcasting. That's what's funny about it. They're the hustlers. It's like the dudes who have the legitimate businesses and all the rest of it, they're not really on YouTube like that. At best, they're on YouTube featuring as an interview for a content creator. But the people who are the full-time content creators and this, that, and that, they're usually the ones who are trying to sell you a dream because they have to sustain their income. You know what I'm saying? These guys that have actually stable, got roots in the ground and they're actually in those countries, they're not going to be as likely to broadcast their business because think about it logically. If you're there or if you're staying there for a long period of time or if you've got a good situation there, why are you going to be broadcasting shit that could potentially interfere and fuck that up? Doesn't make any sense. And as a black man especially, there's not many of us over in that part of the world. So it's going to stand out. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, you can tell I'm a nigga who knows what he's talking about. Let's just put it like that. So without further ado, let's run the motherfucking clip.
What's up, world? It's your boss International Zone. I want to keep it 100 on Pattaya.
All right, good. That's a good start. We want you to keep it 100. That's a good start. By the way, I know this video is going to be exceptionally long because I'm going to be pausing it, giving commentary, and this video is 40 minutes, so it is what it is.
And of course, this is in my opinion. And notice I said Pattaya. I didn't say Thailand. All this versus Thailand versus Philippines and Brazil versus Thailand. First of all, let's stop versing whole countries. Let's keep it realistic. It's cities against cities in a country, within a country. It's not country against country because most of y'all ain't even been around your own country to really share any landscape and what goes on. So how could you do it give your opinion on a country that you haven't even visited all parts of. And even
facts. That is 100% facts. It's a very good point. And it's something that needs to be said. Because too often guys do that. Dudes will spend their entire Thailand trip in Pattaya and be comparing Pattaya to entire other countries. And they're like, this is what Thailand's like. No, nigga, that's what Pattaya is like. And Pattaya, and I'm telling you, the moment you step out, listen, you have to get to Pattaya through Bangkok anyway. But if you skip Bangkok, which is fine, but if you do, you won't even recognize the difference between those two cities. If you stay in Bangkok for even just a few days, you'll realize it ain't Pattaya. You will realize that real quick. You get what I'm saying? There's fun to be had, but it ain't Pattaya fun. You go over to Phuket, oh, you're going to realize real quick it's not Pattaya. You understand? So, like, it's just funny how, like, dudes, you know, kind of, yeah, he's correct on that anyway.
if you have visited all parts of, you haven't been in each part long enough to really have to base anything upon it, right? So let's stop listening to people trying to tell you what country is better than what country. Certain things are general, but everybody's opinions, and which is still opinion, is really based on cities. So I want to talk about Pattaya and what I feel like keeping it 100 about Pattaya. I came to Pattaya in December of 2019 for the first time. I know there's a lot of guys, especially the military guys, they've been coming here for years, way before that. But what I will say is definitely a difference between when I came in 2019 and when I came back after the pandemic. In my opinion, there was more fun, more clubs, more girls. It was just a better vibe.
Like, subscribe, and share the video.
To me, like and I don't think I had that much fun because it was my first time. I think I had that much fun because there was that much fun to be had.
That's a really interesting point. Like I said at the top of the video, again, I didn't know I was going to say that, but like I said, I was meant to go in 2019 originally. That was when I meant to go. And hearing that kind of makes me more annoyed that I didn't have the ability to go, because as someone who went in 2022, it's hard to imagine it being more than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to imagine because it's already a lot. There's nowhere in the world like that. Let's just be very clear. There's nowhere in the world like Pattaya. Nowhere. There's places you might prefer. There's places you might like more. That's more your speed, more your flavor. But there's nowhere that has that type of like setup. Nowhere. Not even anywhere else in Thailand. You know what I'm saying? Like, the walking street in Pattaya is not replicable in other parts of even Thailand. Like, there's nowhere else like it. So again, like there's maybe little miniature versions, little kind of imitations, but it's not the same. And so to hear that in 2019, before the pandemic, he was even more popping, is kind of crazy to try and think about. You know what I'm saying? I've watched videos from back then, but to be honest, the footage back then was, it to me, I couldn't make out and tell the difference between the litness back then and the litness now. That being said, you can still have a perfectly good time all the same, because if you couldn't, niggas wouldn't be going. So,
and the quality of the women was better, in my opinion. I mean, when you went in 808, they really had some beautiful girls. Now, it's not that quality there. They had a nice mixture of girls in 808 too. There wasn't no hip-hop girls. There wasn't all overweight. It's a decent amount of overweight girls that go to the clubs that the brothers frequent. Now, it's a total change of the way the girls dress, the way they look. I mean, they really had some beautiful women in 808 when I first came.
That's interesting, like, to say that the demographic has shifted that drastically in just a few years, because it's not that long of a time. And I haven't been anyway. Like, my last trip, I didn't go. I haven't gone there a lot of times, so I can't really speak on that specific, compare it too heavy. But just based on the chicks around, yeah, by the time I got to Thailand, there was definitely hip-hop chicks there already in 2022. But it has increased a little bit. I mean, they wouldn't have brought Rolling Loud out there and put it specifically in Pattaya if there wasn't some kind of appeal. So obviously there is. But yeah, it's kind of interesting hearing that he's saying the girls were more beautiful. I'd have to see like examples of the chicks from before then, because I don't know, like it's hard for me, again, like because I don't have that reference, it's hard for me to really comment on that. So, but I'll take his word for it, because, you know, he seems to be keeping it real so far.
Thank you. When I first came, very impressed. And let me say something real quick before I get into it. Travel Time with Paul, Mac Neezy, Tom Young Lechon. I've watched all of them. Well, Mac Neezy doesn't have a channel, but I've watched enough of their videos to say that they definitely have a point. And they're definitely telling the truth in certain aspects of Pattaya. And only thing I would say, in my opinion, is that I wouldn't agree with is that the way they went about it. They went about sharing the information negatively, as far as attacking another person to get their point across. And maybe it was done purposely because shock value sells, gets clicks. So, but you know, I don't know if it's strategic or I don't know, maybe that's why they got a lot of quote unquote they haters. So I'm not saying, I was just saying they did give information, but how you give information is important. You know, I think they attack.
Okay, I don't entirely agree with him, especially because, as I said, I've made videos addressing the same type of shit, and I've done it in a way that can be kind of aggressive. I'm just not someone that people know about, but I've made my comments on it. There's other people that have made their comments on it that are small channels. I can't really entirely agree with this, and in fact, I think in maybe one of the last videos I did, I outright explicitly actually addressed this exact argument, because there's a lot of guys who say like, oh, you know, we shouldn't be doing this, or you don't have to call dudes out, or or we don't have to be like this, brothers should come together. No, fuck all of that, because if that type of mentality is like not what the people who are perpetuating this bullshit have. They don't have that. If they had that mentality of, oh, we got to do right by dudes, they wouldn't be selling you bullshit. So no, we can't do that. Because you see, the thing is, these guys are selling you overwhelming positivity. So the only way to really counteract that is to counter it with overwhelming negativity. Now, me personally, like, I will just say right now with names, like Travel Time and Paul, he's funny and kind of entertaining or whatever, but I'm gonna keep it a stack. The dude's entire channel is nothing but talking shit about, you know, Thailand and Pattaya and da. But it's kind of like, all right, nigga, like, if it's that serious, if it's that bad, like, then, like, you know, you made your point, is the kind of thing. Like, how much are you gonna milk that content? You made your point, my nigga. Like, we get it, you know what I'm saying? But dudes still want to believe in the dream. So fair enough, he's going to still run his mouth, he's still going to make the content, but it gets to a certain point where, to me, like, just as a grown man, it's like, well, why are you going to keep yapping online about the same thing over and over and over again? That's one of the downfalls of being a content creator or trying to chase clicks and I'm not saying he's trying to do that heavily, but it's just one of those kinds of things, like, where it's just like, okay, you know, you got dudes out here and guys like Travel Time and Paul, you'd have to always think, like, if anything you was to ever tell him, like, if you knew him on a personal level, like, he's going to use that for content at some point. You get what I'm saying? Or he's going to try and expose you. And if you became a big name, like, he's going to try and put it out there. And, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just one of these things you'd have to think about. That means he don't make content, so he's not really going to be trying to go after things for shock value and for clicks and clout, because he doesn't benefit from that. So everything he's saying, he's pretty much just saying because that's just honestly how he feels. There's no real benefit to him in terms of, like, monetization in order to talk controversial shit. So he's just saying that shit because that's really what he feels. And who's the last person here? Tom Long Lechon. Tom Yam Lechon is an interesting one. I find the way he does his presentation unique and it's interesting, but he's definitely someone I can't watch long term, like properly like that. Like, his content's all over the place. It's kind of weird. I don't know, but again, he'll be making some points, but he's, to me, definitely not the person I would go to for that information consistently. But he's all right.
Richie Mack, they attacked Chocolate Man. they disrespected them at times, and it was no need for it, because they could have easily said, contrary to what you hear from other YouTubers, or they could have been direct, contrary to what Richie Mack says. They could have done all of that, but they went at it like, so.
I mean, I get that to an extent. I get that, and I definitely think in the case of like someone like Travel Time Paul, he's definitely doing it. I would say for the clicks, like definitely. He out of those three is definitely the one I would say is doing that. Like Tom Yum too, but I think Tom Yum's delivery is a little different. I don't think he's as harsh. But I think really I just think out of the three of them, really the only one I would say is definitely trying to do it in a harsh way, specifically to get clicks and clout, is Paul.
I was saying they had a lot of truth to what they were saying. So let me say this. Like I just had a little, I was on shared a live with Richie Mack the other day, and I told him, Pattaya is like hedonism. He tried to say otherwise, but I still hold firm on that.
Wait, hold on. Let me back that up.
Shared a live with Richie Mack the other day, and I told him, Pattaya is like hedonism. He tried to say otherwise, but
how? See, that's the reason why. Because like right now, even just hearing that, I ain't even seen the live. Just hearing that, instinctually, I feel like cussing the nigga out. Like that's like, how do you go to a place like Pattaya and say it's anything other than hedonism? How? They got weed shops all over the place, bars all over the place. That's weed, smoking, right? Smoking, getting high, and alcohol. Everywhere. How the fuck is it not hedonistic? Like, it's crazy. And that's not even getting into the main draw, which is, of course, the sex work. So how are you gonna... Bro, you try walking down Walking Street, motherfuckers are trying to hand you these fucking, trying to advertise what to you? What are they trying to advertise to you on Walking Street? Huh? They're not advertising a fucking, would you like to come and speak with the Lord? And they're not trying to do none of that. See, like, that's the shit that gets dudes, like, that's what makes niggas go after them. It's the fact that they're so committed to their deception. That's the reason why dudes go at their neck like that. You have to. Because these motherfuckers they're not gonna be real. Why can't you just say like, yeah, it is hedonistic, that's true, but there's still some gems to be found. You could just say that. But no, like, niggas has got to protect the brand, like, and it's just, fuck, that's some bullshit.
I still hold firm on that. It's a place to have fun.
Facts.
They don't call it the man's Disney World for nothing.
Sorry, Zoe, you do talk a bit slow, nigga, so I'm gonna have to speed your shit up. You know what I'm saying? We're putting this shit on 1.5, niggas. We got shit to do.
It's a place to have fun, for the most part, for real. And let me say where some of the problems lie. Now, as far as coming here to meet a wife or me to get serious, it ain't the place. Not saying it can't happen, but it's definitely not the place for that.
Facts.
Not Pattaya. And I think for the most part, when people come here, they do come here initially to have fun. But of course, if you're here for a long period of time, you might meet somebody that you like and so on and so forth. The problem is if you meet a girl who goes to the clubs that the black guys frequent, they're going to be girls that everybody knows.
Facts.
There's not an abundance of the attraction that the average black man wants. Now,
facts. That is facts. I've been wanting to make a whole video about that specific thing for a while, because a phrase I have always said since I started going there is that Pattaya is like the music industry, specifically the hip hop industry, the rap industry, because it's the same shit where you got a group of niggas who are sharing the same host. That is literally what that's like Pattaya is like for black men. Like, if you're going for the chicks that niggas like and that like niggas, like, specifically, you're typically going to be having the same circulation of chicks. All you got to do, if you ever doubt this, when you get a chick, all you got to do is look at her social media, look at her Instagram, and you'll see niggas there. You'll see niggas there. You might even know some of them, but they'll be there. I ain't gonna be there because I don't follow none of these bitches. You know what I'm saying? But if you go and follow their accounts, you will see. If you go look, if they got a public page, go look. You'll see them. You'll see in the comment section, leaving likes on the pictures, following, all of that. And look, I ain't nothing wrong with that, but I'm just agreeing with the point. You know what I'm saying? And if ever you're wondering, is the girl I'm talking to like that? Nigga, if she goes to a club, she's like that 100%. But even if she don't, she's still probably circulating, because she could be on the app, she could be still moving around, you know what I'm saying, in other ways. I know girls who, they used to go to the clubs, and now, there was a chick who, when I met her in January, she was out clubbing all the time. I met her just on this trip gone. She says she don't party no more. She don't drink, she don't go clubs, she don't do none of that shit. She was doing all of that just a few months ago. Now she's got a whole new life or something. Like, now she on some other type of time. Fuck knows why, but that's what she's saying. And even when I'm talking to her about the clubs, like, she had this look of like dismissal and disgust on her face that you can tell she's just like I'm not trying to live that life no more. I was like, okay, okay, but that don't change the fact. See, if you let's say in a couple years she goes further down that path and becomes more of a, you know, she let's say she gets a business, and, you know, she takes some of that freelance money and does a little something. Let's say she does all of that. See, by the time a nigga meets her, he gonna think, oh, she don't go club, she a good woman, she got a body, but she don't do this, she don't do that. Nigga, she did all that though. She did do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. And them contacts might still be active. You don't know. When you're not there for a few months, them old boys like me might have to slide for, and we might not know she got a dude in the picture, because they don't always tell you. You know what I'm saying? They don't always tell you.
Are there attractive women here? Plenty of attractive women here. But the type of phenotype that most brothers like, as far as we looking for some booty, we looking for some shape, and we looking for some color. We looking for sometimes a little curl in the hair, stuff like that. There's not an abundance of that here in Pattaya. And the girls who have that look, or the girls who also like men, they're going to be in just a few places. Mm-hmm. Now, which means all the black guys are going to want them. Most of the black guys are going to want one of them. So it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be a lot of potential. No, you can leave it up. Can you leave it up? Oh, you have to? Okay. So everybody's going to be trying to get at the same girl. So that's where it's just your turn is going to happen. Everybody's trying to get at the same girls that the average black guy is attracted to.
Facts.
So you are, in essence, going to be waiting your turn, which caused a little bit of infighting, because that community of the women who like black guys and the black guys who like these certain type of phenotype women is small.
See, this also is like indicative of another problem, that I've, again, when I went to make my video talking about this specific thing to do, like the title of the video, as I said, would be Pattaya is like the rap industry or whatever. The reason why it's an issue in Pattaya specifically, when niggas are going there, is because of this. It's not the fact that we're such a big amount, bro. Even when I went just now, this last few week gone, even when I was there, I didn't really see black people. I stayed in Jom TM, right? And in my entire building, my entire condo, there was no niggas in there except me. There was none. If there was one, I never saw the motherfucker. Like, there was none there. I just saw Russians, white dudes. That's it. I even, like, Thai chicks. That's it. Like, I didn't see, I saw Thai women who lived in there. I saw Thai dudes who lived in there. I saw a couple other Asian niggas who lived in there. Mostly white guys. Like, I didn't see no niggas in there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I'm young as well, so I stood out even more. Then on top of that, right, in the area, I barely saw. I think I saw maybe 2 black people in the entire time when I was there. I went to Jomtien Beach early in the morning. I don't see no niggas out there jogging. I see old white men jogging. I see young white men jogging. I see white girls jogging, Thai girls jogging. I don't see no niggas. I go over to, you know, Central Pattaya. I still don't really see niggas like that. I see a little bit more, but still not that much. It's not until I hit Walking Street, until I hit Beach Road, when I start seeing some of you niggas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where the hose is at, that's where you niggas is at. And you wonder why. This is the reason why you guys will never find like anything else, because I'm not going to get into super detail about it, but, you know, you can find some hidden gems, even in Pattaya. But it's not going to, but you see, the thing is, niggas always frequent the same spots. And I see it, even when you guys talk online. And you talk about where you're gonna link up. Yeah, man, we're gonna link up what is it? The Golden Tiger Bar. And yeah, man, let's link up, man. We're gonna be what the fuck that place called? Kicking Chicken and fucking, you know, like you guys all want to go to the same spots, and that's fair enough. But like, nigga, like you're not in America, and I'm saying this because most of you are Black Americans. You're not in America, and if you know, so it's kind of interesting. This is one thing, maybe because I'm a Brit, it's different for me because whilst I fuck with a lot of the Black Americans, I'm from a different nation, so I don't feel the necessity to hang out with you guys the same way, right? Which actually helps me to not get caught up in a lot of the fuckery, because it's like, okay, even with the chicks, I've now noticed, and I didn't know before if there was a distinction, but they do actually make a distinction with me. Like, I didn't know before, but I thought, I'd just be the same. Now, when they see me, it's just, I'm a nigga, like, same as the rest of you, right? Maybe they think I'm African, maybe they think I'm American, it don't matter, but I'm a nigga, right? But once I talk, there's an intrigue there that is completely different, because they're like, wait, where are you from? You're not American, and you don't sound African, like, where are you from, right? And they'll be like, and some girls, they pick it up immediately, like, oh, are you English? Like, oh, I've never met a black person who's English before, because most of the people who have my type of accent in Thailand, they're white. So, if you meet an English person, for the vast majority of the time, like, they're gonna be a white person. So a lot of these girls, they've never met a black person from England, whereas they're getting way more exposed to you Americans, and they've been overly exposed for a minute to the Africans. So there's still a little bit of a gap in the market that I'm able to slip into, even as a black person. But that being said, there are certain stereotypes and prejudices levied against us, just on the face of it anyway. And, like I say, like, just to go back to the point of why I paused, like, what he says facts. What Zoe's saying is facts, because the problem you have is a supply and demand issue, basically, right? You have an issue where the supply of girls that niggas like is not enough to meet the influx, the demand that is growing as more black men go there. And you got to bear in mind, it's not just more black men go there, it's more black men who want to stay there as well. With every trip, with every time a black man goes out there, there's a greater increased chance he's not going to want to leave. There's guys who are extending their trips, missing their flights, overstaying, right? Next minute, it turns into border runs. You know what I'm saying? Niggas running out to Laos and heading back and da. Like, that's what it becomes. And then all of a sudden, niggas don't want to leave, right? They don't want to go nowhere. And, you got guys who start catching feelings for hoes, or they get a favourite hoe and they don't want no one else. This is what you end up dealing with, right? And like he said, there's only so many of those types of chicks around. So even if, like, when dudes is dealing with them, like, they're going to want to keep them, they want to capture them, they're going to want to keep them around. And, there was one chick I was talking to a few weeks before I went out there. I've met this chick before in January. She's a freelancer. I met her before, right, in January for the first time. She's a young chick, right? And she definitely the type of chick, she'd be hanging out in the clubs, niggas will be on her, she got a booty, all the rest of it, right? She, I messaged her one time, right, online. Don't you know that bitch didn't say nothing to me for a whole week? Okay, and not because she was ignoring me, the message wasn't even read. She didn't even open the message for a whole week. You understand? She wasn't, and it wasn't just that she didn't reply to me. She wasn't online on any apps or nothing for a week. She didn't post nothing on social media for a week. You know why? Because a nigga took her off the market for a week. Now, you might say, okay, it is what it is. He purchased her for a week, did his thing. Some dudes are doing that for a month. Some are doing it for 2 months, right? Fair enough. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to say is that because there's not a lot of those types of chicks around, when a motherfucker takes that off the market for any period of time, like, nigga, like the last trip I did, let's say you're in the city for a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, there's other joints, there's other things for you to deal with, but you shouldn't get your feelings about it. But the point I'm making is, if every other dude was doing that for that period of time, nigga, you ain't gonna have shit left. Even if after a week or two they throw him back into the sea, you're only there for so long yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I just thought about that. Like, I was like, okay, she's one chick, and to be honest, I'm not that pressed about her. By the time I took my trip, she was there, and I didn't even link up with her anyway, because I was dealing with so many new joints. There was only one chick I hit again that I already messed with. All the rest of them were new, right? So there's only so many you can get to in one trip anyway. And me personally, I like a variety. I don't just go for big booty, because if I did, my selection would be slim. But I like a lot more than just that. But a lot of you dudes, yeah, you're going to be rotating the same hoes because there's not enough of a supply of what you like Zoe's saying. So anyway, a bit long-winded, but I'm agreeing with what you're saying there.
Going to be mostly in 808.
Yep.
Mostly in Flex.
Yep.
Mostly in Maji Bar or Golden Tiger. And it's the same small group. and the guys frequent the same places, and so on and so forth. Now, I would say the most attractive girls work in the go-go bar, in my opinion. Like, you could go to a few now you got to check them out, because there's like over 100 go-go bars, I mean, in Pattaya. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe it's 50, but it's a lot. It would take you about a week to get through most of them. And the girls in the go-go bars, the really attractive ones, you're not really going to be able to get at them because, one, their work schedule is demanding. They work in like 12 hours. The fine ones make so much money in the go-go bars by their salary and whatever commissions they make that they don't need a guy to take care of them. Or a guy's going to have to pay a hefty fee to get them out of there, to take care of them, the bad ones. Right? And then it's hard for brothers to get with the women outside of the few little clubs with the girls who like the black guys, because some of the reasons. Black guys have a bad reputation. And let me explain. Because I think people say a lot of stuff, but they're not explaining it. But I talk to enough women, I get enough ideas, and I'm not saying I got all this, everything, but black guys have a bad reputation because...
Okay, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to hear, because I'm not sure. This will be interesting to hear.
We like multiple women. So a lot of these women know that the black guys are going to cheat on them, basically. Even when you make them...
Right, I can definitely say in my recent trip, there was a chick I was talking to, Thai chick, fine as hell. Easily one of the baddest chicks, like one of the baddest chicks I've ever smashed and that I've seen out there. Easily, right? I ain't even going to show a picture of her because, again, shit's the rap industry. Niggas probably seen her before. But she ain't in the clubs like that. But if niggas know how to move, they probably, there'll definitely be some niggas who would recognize her. But I'll tell you right now, she said the same shit. She was, and let me be very clear. She was very specific in Black Americans. She said that they're playboys and they think that, she basically was saying that they think they're so cool. Like, she was saying that Black American dudes think that they're really cool and that they're what is it? Like, she was basically acting like, yeah, like they think they're cool, they think they're all that. She didn't phrase it exactly like that, but in her own Thai way, that's basically what she was saying. And I did clarify to make sure that's what she was saying. And she was saying basically that they're playboys. That was the main thing. And she was saying playboys. So what he just said, I recently in my last trip literally heard a Thai chick tell me that. So, it is what it is. It definitely corroborates with what I've heard. But if I'm going to be... I'll let him continue, but I might slightly have to push back on him a little bit, but we'll see.
Girlfriend, you're going to smash other girls, which is probably still going to be in their small community, which is probably going to be somebody they know or know 6 degrees of separation. We have a reputation of playing and not taking them serious. Mm-hmm. A lot of girls in Pattaya's goal is to get a boyfriend or a sponsor. That's a man to send them money to take care of them, so they don't have to work here in Pattaya, and they have enough money. Some of them will be faithful. You send them money.
Speaking of which, the chick who said that about the Black Americans, she told me about 3 sponsors she's got. So, yeah.
They be your girl. They be devoted to you when you're here. They have enough money to take care of themselves and send some money home to their parents because it's their responsibility, for the most part, to take care of their parents when their parents are up in their elder years, because they don't have, most of these jobs and professions, they don't have pensions, retirement and all that. So it's the children's responsibility to take care of their parents. So when you're taking on a female, like I think you got to give them enough where they got enough to survive and send something home. In a lot of cases, parents are taking care of raising their children, so on and so forth. So now I definitely tried to holler at a real estate agent, some of the beautiful women that work in the professional places in the mall and stuff like that. They're not really checking for us, or you got to do a lot of work, just like if you would have to gain a beautiful woman anyway. That's not going to be easy. They got options. And they're not raised to prefer black men. They have their stereotypes about.
Facts. However, on my last trip, I did pick up a chick working in 7-Eleven. And whilst I did have to go out with her on a couple of dates, and bear in mind, these dates were like the cheapest shit ever. It's just going to the beach. First day I took her Jomtien Beach. Second day I took her Pattaya Beach. Third day we went back to Jomtien. Then she came to my condo and smashed. So no money, like paid direct to her. Don't know how it would play out long term because it's still fairly recent. But just saying that's how that went. So that's not the mall. But she was working, but she's a student. It's a little different. She doesn't live in Pattaya. She'd only be in Pattaya for a number of days. Literally, like, not even, like, half a month. So, a little bit of a different situation. But that's something that would probably be worth discussing at length another time.
Black men that they was taught that we're bad, that we're dirty, that we smell. For some strange reason, they have these perceptions in their mind that someone gave them. A girl even told me that she had to tell her family or people she know, like, no, actually, black guys smell better than most of the other men. She had to tell them that. So we get a bad reputation for being butterflies or wanting multiple women, and it's true. It's, for the most part, it's true.
Facts.
We're here to have fun. Even when we find somebody, we still want to have fun. And, you know, we slinging some of the best product in the world. Let's be honest. I've traveled all around the world, and girls will say we up there with the top dogs as far as black men, black American men. They enjoy what we do, and I think we do that well for the most part, because in America, and particularly with black women, you got to put it down. You got to work hard, because, you know, they'll talk about you like a dog. So we're used to putting in that work. We're used to performing. We're used to working hard to please a woman sexually. It's like we're trying to keep up with the stereotype, I think. So when we travel around the world, we usually get good reviews for the most part. Now, of course, not in every situation. And I'm not saying every brother's holding and all that, because even a chick in the Dominican Republic told me this. I won't forget. She said, even if a black guy isn't big, usually he's still better than other men in bed. So that has to.
That I can believe that. I can believe that. I can't speak on it personally, of course. I ain't a woman, but I can believe that. And I think that comes down to the mindset, mentality that as black men we tend to have. I don't think we're as selfish, and I think we enjoy like the sexual process and the kind of whole thing surrounding it a lot more. You know what I'm saying? I think we're just a lot more sexual in that type of way, and we're a lot better at kind of, think about it, a lot of the things black guys are good at stereotypically are things that involve physicality, right? That's why, for better or worse, really it's not entirely a great thing overall, but to a certain degree the positive imagery we do have is associated mostly with physicality, dance, you know, sports, athleticism, things of that nature. And we do, generally speaking, tend to be very good at those things. Even when I was a kid, I was like a really fast runner. I didn't fucking do anything to become fast or to make myself fast. No one does. But genetically, I was just fast. You know what I'm saying? I've got roots in the Caribbean and Cuba and wherever it is. So that's just how it goes. But it's just kind of funny how, you know, that obviously takes place and transfers over to, of course, the bedroom.
Performance. And when you get into a little something relationship here, you probably have been with other women here, and they're going to hate on you. Because they're going to be jealous. Maybe because they like you. Maybe. I've
definitely seen some of that with this chick I met in 7-Eleven. There was other girls that, you know, I was talking to about it, just kind of getting their input on what they thought of her, if they thought she really was a good girl, if she seemed like she a liar, a hoe, And I got mixed reactions, but there was this general, even with chicks I just met for the first time, there was this general sense of jealousy, especially if I met a chick and, you know, like she a freelancer, it's like as if they definitely, some of them, there was one chick in particular I'm thinking of who got a real kick out of the idea of being with me, knowing that girl was in the picture. In other words, you know, getting a kick out of doing something with me, knowing that there's a guy there who potentially has feelings. Like some of these girls, you know, they get a kick out of that, of the idea I'm cheating on her, even though I'm not cheating on her because she's not my girl, but still, you know, so there's jealousy, but there's also that type of thing as well, where some of them, they just want to, you know, they like the idea of being a bit naughty.
Because they don't like the girl that you're with. And it's just an infighting, catfighting. Like I said, the community that we're going to find ourselves in here, Pattaya, is a small community. Mm-hmm. So everybody's going to be with probably the same girls or know somebody.
Also, on that point as well, there's a girl I know, a masseuse. She told me that she went to 808 one time and she never goes back. And I asked her why. And she said that it's because when she went to 808 the one time, there was like a black dude, of course, you know, there. She like chatted with him, whatever. And some other girl came and pushed her. Like physically pushed her hard, gave her a hard shove. It's basically tell her to back off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I asked another chick, I told another chick I know who I know frequents 808, I asked her, this is the chick who said she quit going to a club. I asked her, I said, oh, like, I've heard girls tell me that in 808, actually, I asked a few of them. I asked a few girls the same question. And these are all girls who've been to 808 or who frequent 808 and flex. And I asked them, I said, is that true? Like, are the girls in there a lot harsher than in the other clubs? And they all said yes. All of them agreed that in AOA, in Flex, like basically the places where the black guys are at, the girls are way more aggressive about keeping the niggas to themselves. And I think there's a combination of two factors going on. Like I said, supply and demand. So there's not a great supply of niggas. There's not that many black men. Even if in those specific clubs, there's a decent, like they're all there. But it's like they're all there though. So there's not that many of them. And of the ones who are there, remember, there's not gonna the girls are gonna have their type as well. Just because you're black, they're still not. They might fuck with you because you're black, but at the same time, they're gonna want the peak black guy. They're gonna want the guy with the muscles, who's tall, who's good looking, who's got hair, and they're gonna want all of that. If you go look at their social media, I've said it before. You'll see the Pookie worship. The niggas who look the most like the Pookie, the most like the rapper, that's who they really want. Because that's what the media has sold them is the image. They're in the hip-hop club. So they're going to want the most hip-hop looking type of nigga. That's what they're going to want. You understand? So when you and of course they want you to be good looking. So when you go there, right, if you're one of those dudes, the chicks are going to be more like, oh, I want him. And if they see another chick trying to move in on that, they're going to feel some type of way about it. Now, don't let you be a nigga who's throwing money, because if you're throwing money around and all the rest of it, then the girls are going to get even more aggressive because they're like, well, shit, that's my payday right there. Fuck out of here, right? Then, and this goes well, because she was a new face there, because she'd never been there before, the girls are going to pick on her a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to look at it like, nah, bitch, like, you can't come over here and be doing this, because this is our territory. You a new motherfucker. Who the fuck is you? That's how they're going to look at it, of course, right? And, of course, it's hip-hop. The whole energy of hip-hop is, more aggressive, more like beef, dissing. What we had that's been going on just recently. You know what I'm saying? So we all know that's the energy of hip-hop, is to have aggression and beef, dissing each other, fuck a nigga, kill him, like that's the type of energy and shit a bitch is putting into her head 24/7. If that's what she vibes with, that's what she fucks with, of course she's going to be a more aggressive type of person. So it's no surprise to me that that's the energy you got. You ain't seeing that in the Indian clubs. You ain't seeing that in any of them little bars where they got the little folk music and all that. You're not seeing that there because it's more chilled out. And even when there's energy in there, it's not that type of aggressive energy. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's what it is.
So Pattaya to me, it is a facade. It is a Disneyland. It is mainly to come have fun
Fact.
and get out of here. Now, some of the guys who do take care of the girls and send them money, let's talk about that a little bit. Well, like I said, in some cases, it's their goal to get a sponsor, to get somebody to take care of them. And some of the guys who do take care of the women, send money, I've seen it. They call them all day, 5 times a day, to make sure they're not in the club, to make sure they're not hanging out with other people, to make sure they're not cheating on them. Some of them even force them to go back to their province in order for them to take care of them. But they don't want them here. They know what goes on here. They met them here.
Fact.
So that's another thing where, and there's guys who invested in some of the girls here, open up businesses for them. And it's also a place where, in my opinion, and I'm not talking about the older guys, because usually the older guys are settled in, cool, laid back, a lot of military. But it's attracted a lot of young guys in the last 2-3 years. And
that's me. That's me. You about to cool us niggas out? He ain't gonna be cooling me out though, because I'm not a dumb nigga. But let's hear what he's gonna say.
I see some of them, like, you see like some awkward kind of guys,
Okay.
Like, you don't see a lot of that in other places. I didn't see a lot of that in Malaysia. I didn't see a lot of that in Cambodia. I didn't see Vietnam. I just didn't. I've spent more time here, but they got guys here that are a little bit, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. I seen guys here arguing and fighting with Thai women in the street, or arguing and fighting with Thai women in the club. And you say, okay, well, go to the Indian club, go to the Arab club, go to different clubs. Yes, you will go to I have gone to those clubs. I have tried that out, but you're going to be like the only black guy in there. You're going to be listening.
Facts. Literally, in the Indian clubs I was in, I was the only nigga in there. But hey, as soon as I walked through that door, nigga, the staff swarmed me because I stood out so heavy that as soon as you walk in, I had like 5 different motherfucking Indian dudes back to back asking me, "Oh, you want a tea? You want a table? You want a drink, bro?" Da, da, da. Like back to back to back to back. Do you know what I'm saying? But they're cool with you though. At least in my experience, they were cool with me. I have to say, they were really like. And I look, I know Indian people here in London. I got Indian friends that I know Indian motherfuckers, and in their own country, it can be. I don't know. I ain't been to India, But I've had Indian people tell me straight up on some 100 shit, yo, if you go to India, the vibe may not be the same. You know, they are quite racist, and we all know they're colorist with their caste system and this and that. So it's interesting though, because in Thailand, where they know they got to kind of, you know, give their service to people, they're a lot more pleasant in my experience. But, you know.
Indian music, which you're not feeling. And yeah, it's going to be some women in there who say, "Ooh, what you doing in here?" and give you a little nod. But if you get into any problems in there, you on your own. And then you got girls who are in there who like Indian guys, who like Arab guys. You know, they might like black guys too, but you're going to be listening to music and you're going to be in an environment where you are not comfortable.
Right.
And you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So if you want to go in there for a little while, catch a number and leave, cool. And the go-go bars are terrible because it's all about buying these girls drinks.
Yeah.
Sitting there, if you want to talk to a girl, you got to buy her a drink. The mama son going to ask for a drink. She going to ask you for another drink. They're going to have watered-down drinks that you're going to be paying double and triple for. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like that environment. So I would just say,
never touch the bars because it never made sense to me either.
Pattaya is different. And there are two sides to the coin. Safety, yes. Affordability, yes. Good food options, yes. But the relationship part is the part that's lacking here in Pattaya.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that's lacking, to me. I also want to say this. When it comes to the black guys, and people say, oh, they love it, don't get me wrong. You're a handsome brother, yes, you're going to have favor with the women, even the ones who don't usually date black guys. If you're handsome and you dress nice and your body's in decent shape, yeah, you're going to have a bigger pool to pick from. Don't think if you out of shape, you're not very attractive, you don't got no style. I mean, you're definitely going to be getting the bottom of the barrel, and you're definitely going to be paying.
Oh, God, that's funny as fuck. The delivery on that. I've got him in 1.5 speed as well, so that's probably making it a bit funnier, but that shit is hilarious. It sounds like facts to me, though.
So, yes, if you look good, you look good. There's women who don't prefer white men, but if they look good, they'll make an exception.
Facts.
So, yeah, definitely could get different types of women here if you look good, if you got confidence, if you got swag, if you ain't a bum, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that too.
And that's the same everywhere. Let's be very clear. That's the same everywhere on this planet.
Another point I want to make, as far as them being with white guys, maybe preferring white guys besides the regular stereotypes. White guys are more prone to take them serious. White guys are more prone to make them their girlfriend.
Facts.
White guys are more prone to be faithful to them.
Facts.
And that's another reason why they prefer going with white guys. Or other racial groups besides black men. Because, and it's partially our fault, even if a black man wants to take a woman serious here, he got to deal with other black men calling him a simp. He got to deal with other black men disrespecting him, and how he would never do that, and so on and so forth. So white guys don't have to deal with that. And if they take a bar girl or a freelancer or anything and make them their girl, they're not ridiculed by their people, per se.
It's not true. It's not true. I can tell you straight up, being from Britain, there's a shit ton of white British guys that go over there, and they'll do it. I mean, I will say, I don't think white people just in general don't go as hard, like go in on each other verbally as aggressively as black people do anyway. Again, we've got hip hop. White people could never have made something like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that energy. That doesn't mean white people don't have smoke with each other. It doesn't mean white people can't fuck each other up. Some of the greatest atrocities in the world were committed by who? So it's not like they can't do fucked up shit to each other or to other people. But when it comes to this specific thing, I think white men generally are more pragmatic than black men are. You understand? They understand a lot better on average. Not all of them, but on average, they tend to be a lot better at understanding, you know, pay the cost to be the boss. Black people have an issue with that, which is one of the reasons why black people typically struggle with, gaining and maintaining wealth. And, black people are more likely to go put their money into frivolous shit, depreciating assets, right? They're more likely to put their money into things that don't hold any true intrinsic or any type of weight or value. Whereas white people are the opposite. Not on all of them, but if you have to pick between, if you have 10 white people and 10 black people, there is a higher number of white people out of those 10 who are going to have better financial literacy than the black people. That's a given. Everyone knows that, right? And because of that, that translates to other areas like relationships. Because whether people want to accept it or not, one of the major causes for breakups and issues in relationships is money. Everyone knows this. That's being proven in studies, statistics, everything. So finances is a major component of relationships. And if you have shit financial literacy, then it kind of follows your relationships are going to be shit. No one really thinks about that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And this is one of the reasons why a white person is going to be better able to maintain a long-term relationship in a stable way with women, especially women from poorer countries. Because let's not make no mistake and let's not over glorify it, because we see in the West, white dudes are struggling with maintaining relationships with white women and whoever anyway. And that's why they're getting divorced and getting their houses split and all kinds of bullshit. So they're still dealing with a lot of shit. But if they go to one of these third world countries, yeah, they're going to have a lot better chance of maintaining it. Now, will their ass get cheated on a lot? Yes. Especially if it's going Pattaya, yes. And if you go and watch any of the YouTube channels where you've got guys that are talking about, I think, what's the dude's name? I'm subscribed to him. I think it's Thai Talk with Dan or something like that. You know, he's a white dude from out here in the UK, you know, and he talks about these horror stories that happen in Thailand, predominantly to white dudes all the time. So, you know, and he'll be telling them what it is. And you'll see in the comments, guys are, you know, going in on them, talking shit about how they're weak and simps and, you know, they're sending them money, it's pathetic and they're getting taken. And, you know, white guys are critiquing them same way. It's just, I think black guys are just a way more kind of aggressive about it. But, you know, we come from a culture where we are going to roast. You know what I'm saying? We are gonna go in. That's how black people tend to do it. You know what I'm saying? We're the same people that if you're wearing trainers and your trainers look a little dusty, we're gonna say something about it. White people don't really do that. But they'll get onto each other about other shit. It's just the shit white people tend to get onto each other about is shit that actually tends to matter long term. But that's my input on that.
In my opinion, I'm not 100% sure, but you don't see other groups of YouTubers making videos down.
Fair enough. He said he's not 100% sure, so fair enough.
Somebody else for making a bar girl their girlfriend. And that's another reason why I think brothers are guilted into not making any of these girls their girlfriend as well.
But should you? Why would you? See, here's my thing though. Why would you do that though? Like, they're guilted, but why would you want to make a bar girl your girlfriend? It's bizarre to me. Why would you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to take a chick from a club and make that your wifey? Why would you want to pick that? You're telling me in this whole world, in this whole planet, you can't find a chick who's just decent and get with that. You're telling me you can't do that? Seriously? Even within Thailand itself, you're telling me you can't find one of these chicks who's just a decent chick? See, the problem is that niggas want to be lazy. You wanna go for the low-hanging fruit. What it is you want a chick who fits your type. And the problem is that unfortunately the girls who fit your type and who also tend to like niggas, unfortunately tend to be of the harlot variety. They tend to be of the bar girl, sex worker variety. They tend to be hoes, 304s. That's the problem. So it's more like you're like, damn, she fucking with me. But she a bar girl. All right, maybe if I just... No. That's what you start getting caught up in. It's the same thing that happens to these white boys. It's the same shit. And guys will say, oh, but I think, you know, and like he's saying that I think it's because we're shamed out of it. It's like, yeah, but why shouldn't you be shamed out of it though? That would be my question. It's like, why shouldn't you be shamed out of it? Like, yeah, the white dudes might be getting shamed this and the third, or they might not get shamed as aggressively, but they do get shamed. Let's be very clear about this. If you go and ask white guys, who, you know, like, oh, what do you think about this guy? He went to Thailand and you know, he took one of the working girls and made that his wife. Most of them are going to look at that dude sideways. Okay, so no, white people definitely will critique it, and will definitely have something to say about it. But I'll be honest, white people definitely don't go as hard on each other as we do. But again, why would you want to do that? Maybe Zoe will explain. Let's hear him out.
Another thing that I hear a lot. Guys always try to say that, oh, guys go to these countries and they get the girls that's, you know, at the bottom of the barrel, or, you know, stuff like that. Let me just say this, right? If a woman from one of these developing countries comes from an affluent family, has an education background, whatever, if she's doing it, making good money, a lot of money, or she's making good money for her country, what incentive does she have to go outside of her own race and choosing one of her own men? who's probably affluent and successful as well, right?
Facts. Makes no sense. Also, a part that a lot of dudes are somehow missing, and which is goes to show how they don't understand the language they use, is dudes will say, I want a traditional woman. None of you are getting wholly, full-fledged traditional women. Traditional means to maintain your traditions, your values, and the things that you come from, right? If a woman is a traditional woman, she's not going to date outside of her culture because that's what? Untraditional. So, yeah. Unless she's coming from a culture where the tradition is specifically to marry foreigners. But, you know, which in Thailand you could somewhat argue has become the tradition for a lot of them. But traditional in a sense of like, I know what dudes are getting at, but I think they need to revise their understanding of that word a little bit. Because the truly traditional women are not going to get with you unless you're going to go all the way over to their culture and become assimilated to them. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really work like that.
Time when you're come from an affluent family, you're around other families that got money. When you go to college and get a degree of such, you know, a significant magnitude, you're around other people who you graduated with, who you went to school with, and are with you along that entire road. So what incentive do you have to go outside of your race to get somebody else who may not be at the top of the food chain in their country?
Facts.
Now, their money may put them at an influence in your country, but just because your money matches their money doesn't mean you match their class.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? Let me break it down. There's a lot of people in America who make six figures. Around the world, you'll be considered very affluent, right? But the average Joe can make six figures in America from overtime. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Any blue-collar worker, any hustler can make six figures with a high school diploma in America. So when people keep pushing this notion that men from America go to these countries and get these downtrodden women per se, first of all, there's a void need. They're looking to be helped, to be lifted up. All women are looking to be leveled up. If I'm on the top level of my country, it don't matter what level you are in your country. I'm at the top level in my country. So I can deal with top men in my country. I don't have to go outside my country. So of course there's going to be some disparity between what a man from America or Australia and these other places mean. They're going to date an older guy because they're trying to come up. They're going to date a guy who can afford to help them out. So usually you're not going to see a guy the same age as the girl dating in a third world country. If she wanted to, you know, because one, a younger guy for the most part ain't going to have the money and the setup that an older guy might have through working, through pensions, through retirement, through investments. So they're going to have some money to play with, and their money could put them in a position to get a younger woman. Like, okay, if you come into a country and you got bread that you can help somebody out, you ain't gonna be going for a chick your age if you're 60. What you need with a 60-year-old? What you need to take care of a 60-year-old for? Or help out a 60-year-old, sponsor a 60-year-old? So the things y'all gotta say have to make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's evident and clear why brothers or men in general in these third world countries or developing countries helping out women who are in need to get what they want. They're getting a young, beautiful woman, and the women are getting what they want. They're getting taken care of. Plain and simple. So yeah, there's going to be some women on the lower totem pole, because women on the high totem pole, they don't need you. You got to come even better. You might have to come with even more money and class. And let's be honest, some of you guys traveling around the world might have money, but you ain't got no class.
Uh-oh. That's straight facts.
I also want to say, as things come to me, if you are trying to meet a quote-unquote good girl, I would say try and meet one of the girls who work in the mall. Any one of the big malls. Try to meet a girl who works in the mall who has a regular job. Don't try to meet a girl who works in a bar, and a weed shop, tattoo shop, and all those other type of things where you're meeting people on the street. Try and meet a girl who works in the mall, one of these department stores. You're better off. Not saying that they're the best or they all gonna be good, but at least they're not gonna be in the underworld. My opinion. It's my opinion. What I want to talk about is the brothers who try to, or men who try to shame.
So let me just quickly speak on that. I agree with him. For the most part, I think, you know, it's also, I'd say be careful about chicks on the apps, like online, on the dating apps, just for this fact that basically, I think anything where a woman is overexposed, like in Pattaya as well, especially, but really anywhere, but especially in a place like Pattaya. I think when women are exposed to that amount of temptation constantly, you gotta kind of be wary of it. You know, like if a chick's got a phone and she's got Thai Friendly on there, she got Tinder on there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta kind of think, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, better to just think it's a bit, you know. It's not, don't say she's a bad, oh, she might not be, but I just say be aware. You know what I'm saying? Like, personally, I would assume she a hoe until proven innocent. But I do that with chicks everywhere anyway.
Men for buying a pee. Listen, all men buy pussy. Straight up and down. Ask any real woman and she'll tell you. Look at Shaq. Wife talking about she ain't never really loved him. Did he not buy that pee? What did you think the song is? If you like it, then you better put a ring on it. What do you think that means? You silly niggas. That means, listen to the lyrics. It means if you don't want other niggas to have access to this pussy, then you need to marry me. Because that's pretty much all you do when you marry women. And what motivates men to make women their girlfriend and their fiance and all that? Yeah, you love her and all that shit, or you care about her, or you like the way she look. Well, you fucking don't want nobody else to have access to that pussy but you. So actually, guys who buy pee, they're kind of smart because you're buying the thing that you want, which is the pussy, and not buying all the extra headaches. If men don't buy...
Facts. And I can tell you right now, when I first went out to Thailand, Pattaya specifically, I was on this wishy-washy kind of, oh, I don't know if I want to deal with freelancers, oh, I don't really want to pay for the bucks, Bro, all I'm going to say in the short version, right? The short version of it is, I've got to the point where now if a chick isn't trying to get it on for the P for P, I get more annoyed. You understand? Because I see something, I'm like, I want you. And I know it ain't going to be out of my price range. So I look at it and I'm like, I want that. I want that. You understand? Now, she might come with a quote. She might give me a quote that I'm not feeling. I'm like, I look her up and down like, nah, you ain't worth that. But I prefer when a chick tell me, yeah, it's this amount. Especially in Thailand, because in Thailand, it's not like, you know, why here it's like in maybe somewhere like Latin America or something. The girls are still very much affectionate and they still give you good time, good service, good, like all around vibes. You know what I'm saying? So you can still sit there with a chick and be chatting to her before and after smashing, like have a conversation, get to know her a bit. Like you can still do all of that type of shit with her. I've had chicks multiple just in my last trip after smashing all that, and they're like, oh, do you want to come hang out with me? Do you want to come here? Do you want to come to the club? And do you want to come chill with me and my friend? Like, not on some, do you want to pay me for more time? No, just, do you want to hang out? Like, just hang out. Not no pay, no nothing. Just hang out. Just come chill with me. And I'm not unique. That ain't just for me. That'll happen to you niggas probably as well. If they like you. If they like you, they'll probably say the same shit. They ain't going to say that about no nigga they think is weird or they think is ugly or they don't want around them, that they just want to get the fuck about it. No, they're not going to say that to you. But if they like you and they vibe with you, yeah, they're going to invite you out and they're going to want to spend more time with you. All of you guys got to understand, for a lot of them, it's nothing personal. It's just business. But outside of that, once they know that the business side's handled and they know they can kind of like, okay, he's a cool dude and he's willing to put up the bread. In a lot of their minds, it's like, okay, well, now I can fuck with him. Now I can hang out with him. Now if he needs a favor, I'm willing to do that. Like, it's that type of thing with them. You understand? And I think, especially because of the stuff Zoe was saying earlier, a lot of the stereotypes associated with black guys, they might be a little bit more wary of how they move and deal with you at first. Especially if they don't usually deal with niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, but once they realize, oh, you're cool, they might feel comfortable. Especially someone like me. I'm very, very good at making women feel comfortable, opening up, talking about themselves, divulging, you know, information and secrets that they probably wouldn't usually give a nigga. So I'm very good at connecting with them on that type of level. So it's easy for me to kind of get that out of them where they want to hang out and actually do shit for me. You understand? Not every guy is able to do that. So your experience might be different.
Listen, how come when they leave, they gotta break that woman off with a stipend, some of them for the rest of that woman's life.
Facts.
Some of them with some walking away money. Is that not buying the pussy? Oh, you really buying the pussy. So what are y'all talking about? It's like, okay, there's a beautiful woman over there. I mean, it's gorgeous, 8, 9, and 10. Let's say she's a pair of Gucci sneakers. If you want Gucci sneakers and they cost $300, that's your business. If you got $300, you buy the Gucci sneakers. If you want $100 Nikes, you want some dope Nikes, the newest Nikes, and nobody put their foot in yet, or just, you know, then you spend $100 and you get your Nikes. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying, brothers try to sit there and say, oh, I'm married and all this shit. Nigga, you bought the pussy. Do you not have to buy your wife something every Mother's Day, every Valentine's Day? Do you not have to take your wife on trips? Do you not have to pay the bulk of the bills in the house? Yes, it's your wife, and I mean, there's more to it. It's not as simple as that, but you got kids and this, that, and the third. But still. You saw Gabrielle Union and all that.
Yeah, I've read some of the comments, like I said before I watched the video, and I saw guys giving pushback on this talking point, and it's something I sometimes fluctuate with, like, but overall, the general truth of it is, nigga, you have to pay something at some point. And I'm saying this as a dude who can get girls for free. I literally just had my trip in Korea and Japan. A girl paid for the accommodations. She paid for my flight from Korea to Japan. She paid for a lot of shit. But I still had to put up some bread here and there. You know what I'm saying? Not as much as she was putting up, though. So she was investing in me. She was paying, and I've never done that for her. I've never taken her on a trip or something. So like she's doing that. That's something she decided to do. I've never done that for her. But she wanted me to come out there to Korea and see her and this, that, and she wanted us to go to Japan. I wanted to go to Japan, but she wanted to go as well. So she paid for it. She paid. Okay? So I'm a guy where I'm able to get an attractive Asian woman, not from fucking Thailand, not from a third world. I'm not hating on that, but because niggas want to always make it out like, oh, you can only get dirty foot, bro. Okay, well, the bitch from Korea, she make better money than a lot of you niggas, and she attractive. She young, she pretty, she's not no busted broad. And she was doing all that for me. And guess what? I'm still going to be the nigga to tell you, yes, nigga, you're going to have to pay, because I'm not with that to go in a relationship. But let me tell you something. If I was, you best believe at some point, if let's see how many Valentine's days you can go without purchasing her something, without it being a problem. Let's see. Any of you guys that think you ain't paying for this or doing that, okay. If you're in a long-term relationship, because this is another thing, when you're not in a long-term relationship, some women, they don't look at you in that way. They just look at it like, oh, he's for fucking and feelings. Like, you're a guy who comes and fucks her, you give her good feelings, and that's all she needs you for. You're still paying with your time and your energy, but you're not paying maybe financially. Fair enough. I'm that guy in many situations. I've been that guy in Thailand. I do it here in London, done it in Korea, Japan. Cool, I get it. But, and there is a difference. I acknowledge that. There is a difference. And it certainly feels better when you don't... Wait, let me be clear. It feels better to get affection from a woman that you know isn't just sleeping around with a whole bunch of customers. That definitely does feel better. There's no denying it. In my last trip in Thailand, the chick I met in a 7-Eleven, when I was out with her, that shit did feel different. It felt like, I don't want to sound corny, but it did feel almost like some, you know, young love, high school, romantic shit. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, we're there on Jomtien Beach, we're sitting at this little fucking smoothie stand, sitting there sipping smoothies, we're walking up and down the beach with smoothies in our hands, and we just looked like a young, fun couple. I'm going to be real. Like, with all the old motherfuckers that was around us, we definitely stood out. And it was kind of bizarre, because it did feel like going on a date. Like, I'm still young, but I'm getting older, and it definitely felt like one of those dates from when I was a teenager. It did feel like dating, like for real. And that is different than, yeah, let's just have some short time. Of course, that is definitely a different vibe. Even if the girl you do short time, even if she likes you, it's a difference between when you know you had to pay her to smash versus not. But that does not change the fact that universally that money matters. That you are not getting away from. So just don't deny that shit. I can agree that there's a difference in how it feels. I can agree that there's a difference in how even the woman looks at it, because women do look at it differently. They do look at it differently. They look at it different if you're tricking versus if you're in a relationship, taking them out and paying for a gift or paying for a dinner or a meal or whatever. They do look at it as two different things. They do, right? And you as a man, you got to ask yourself though, like, what is it you want? Do you just want to get the access real quick and you want that? Or do you want to do all the extra? Me personally, when I'm moving around, I'll mix it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can, and that makes it, to be honest, for me, that makes the thing like taking a girl out on the dates more tolerable. It makes it more tolerable because when I want the access to smashing or something, I can just get out of my system and I ain't got to do all the extraness. What's annoying about like Western society is that a lot of times to get access to the chicks you want and whatever, like just to smash, because a lot of times you don't like these girls as people, you don't want to hang out with them, you just want to just get access to the box and do your thing and keep it moving. Like, but in order for you to do that, it's too much gymnastics, it's too much like hoops, jumping, and all kinds of extraness just to get the end result. That's what's annoying. And that's why I do love these pay-for-play spots, is because it's like they can get straight to business, get the fantasy out, get the thing they want, do the thing they want to do to the woman, and enjoy all those kind of things. Like, oh, I want to see this type of girl do this for me. I want to see what this kind of girl looks like on her knees. And like, I'm not going to get too explicit with it, but we're dudes. You know what I'm saying is facts. And it be like that. But then there's going to be some girls who you're going to be like, oh, like, I wouldn't mind just taking her out for a normal date. Yeah, she seems like a good chick. I don't mind doing that. But I'm telling you, at least for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of guys, it's a lot easier and you appreciate it more when you're able to get the sexual side out. Like, once you get that kind of, you're not walking around frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're cool. You're like, okay, yeah, like, I got that out. So if you meet, like, if the chick from 7-Eleven, if I met her and she wasn't trying to smash or whatever, it is what it is. I'm not going to be as pressed, because if I want that specific thing, I can get that. It's not gonna bother you as much. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep it going.
As soon as they gotta pay the bills, oh, they get funky with your ass and they tell you to hit the road.
Facts.
So money's involved when it comes to relationships with men and women. Period. Okay.
Facts.
And if you're a broke guy and you slinging some good pipe, that's only gonna last for a little while before she tell you to beat it too. I mean, they made songs about it. No romance without finance. No money, no honey. Okay. When it comes to dealing with women, you're gonna spend some money. And if all you want is to smash, then I don't see nothing wrong with paying to smash.
Facts.
Because anything outside of that, you actually gonna be spending more money. When a girl is your girlfriend, you gotta take her to the movies, you gotta take her to eat, you might have to buy her some clothes every now and then, you might have to help her out with emergency, help her out with some bills. Somebody gotta help her, right? And if not you, somebody else, then you're gonna get access to the P too, right? So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying, dudes that are broke, who can't travel, who don't travel, or who marry, or whatever it is, don't try to clown dudes for paying for the pee. That's their business. And actually, you are paying for it too. Dr. Dre pay for the pee? Did Eddie Murphy pay for the pee? Did Paul McCartney pay for the pee? Did Jeff Bezos pay for the pee? Come on. Oh, none of them gets out of there without breaking off a woman some major paper. What do you think the problem is right now with Jeezy? You got to pay. You pay more when you marry her. You pay a little less when it's your girlfriend, and you pay the least when you just pay for what you really wanted in the first place. Let's be honest, man. We don't care about all that hugs and kisses and a companion. Man, we don't care about that. We want the pee. We want some top. We want you to cook and clean, do a couple things for us. Other than that, I know I'm simplifying it, but let's be honest. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm not coming back to Pattaya. I like Pattaya for fun, for hanging out, for the affordability, the food, and the safeness, the ease of life. But that's what I'm coming for. I'm definitely not coming to find a wife. If you want the feminine, more docile Thai girls, don't get the girls that be in the hip-hop clubs, because they're influenced by hip-hop culture and they behave like the women in hip-hop culture. So you ain't gonna get this.
Facts. That's literally what I said earlier. 100%.
Docile type of Thai girl. If she's into that culture, she may be less rough around the edges than a woman from America. But trust me, she's on that yo bro time too.
Yeah, that's facts. They be texting, bro. As soon as I see a Thai chick message me saying yo, or they use bro, I'm just like, oh, fuck out of here. Like, fuck out of here. It's cringe as well. It's like, no. Did you know that little Thai accent is just relax, please. Don't talk to me like that. Like,
so yeah. And I would say probably Richie made off pretty good, because his girl is not an 808 girl. She's not in the culture. She's not a hip-hop head. So, he met her in a massage parlor and all of that. So she don't really fall into that category.
True, but she's also a very, like, to me, like, she's just a basic... Let's be very clear about something. Like, Richie Max girl, you can find that everywhere. She's a dime a dozen. That type woman, you can find that all over the place. Literally, you trip over L's. And like, and the reason I'm saying that is because, like, people might be like, oh, what do you mean? Well, like, I don't know what L's past is. And as far as I'm aware, no one's exposed her as having done anything. A lot of these other YouTubers, most of them really that I know of that have these Thai GFs, most of their goals are being exposed as doing something. So if she, as Richie's one of the biggest dudes in the space for that, I think if there was something exposed about her, it would have come out by now. At the very least, you ain't got a whole bunch of ninjas like, yeah, I smashed, I hit her back in the day. Like, you ain't got all that. So, but that's probably because she's just a regular Thai woman that you would just see. Like, there's a lot of girls like that. There's a lot of girls like that just kind of low key, and they're just regular Thai women. You see them, but niggas ain't really going after them. But look at her. She doesn't have a massive arse. She don't have big T's. She ain't got anything that would make dudes lock onto her heavy. You understand? She's not over-sexualized in any type of way where dudes would lock onto her. And if she weren't living a party girl lifestyle, then even less guys are going to come across her. So, you know, if she's just living humbly, then yeah, it's going to be harder for guys to find her, even if she's in Pattaya. Even if she's in Pattaya. So I will say, to Richie's credit to a degree, again, I don't know L's background, but I will say to his credit to a degree, if you want women like the one he's got, you are more likely to find that. But if you think you're going to come out here and get the thick type of Thai, like, no. Because they're going to be ran-throughs, they're going to be around niggas all the time. Niggas is going to already have gotten to them because there's not that many and they stand out. It's too, a nigga will see that walking down the street and he's on that. And a lot of them are freelancers, so they've been around, like, they got sponsors. It's too much competition for those few, like, the more exotic ones that you want, the ones that are going to stand out, the ones that are going to be more your type of preferences, a nigga, it's going to be more likely they are already done at it. It's more than likely that they're done out here already. You understand? That doesn't mean they can't be cool with you. That doesn't mean you can't have a good time with them. That doesn't mean that they're not pleasant. There's still a lot of times, even though they're shaped like that, a lot of times they're still more humble and still more pleasant than the women you're going to have back home. That's one of the best things about them, is the fact that they look like, they can look bad as fuck, but they can still be like amiable people. They can still be pleasant to talk to and to be around. And that is probably one of the biggest appeals that they have, is that they look that good, but they're not always necessarily a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Some of them will be, but a lot of times they won't be, you know? And I think that's worth thinking about as well. But I would say definitely avoid any chick who parties at all. I don't care if it's 808 or not. I don't care, not just 808, any clubs. Just avoid party girls in general. Like, that should be a rule of thumb, really, just for the majority of the West, like, as well, like, just most of the world. Like, girls who party in general tend to just not be of the best character for long-term relationships, especially if they're in the midst of the party girl phase. Now, if you find them after that point, then it might be a different story. But then you have to ask yourself, are you okay with a chick who's got that kind of past where you might be walking around with her and niggas is gonna be like, oh, I already hit that, and like, you just gotta kind of decide what you're comfortable with, you know.
You ain't gonna see her ever in 808 unless Richie brings her there or in Flex. So in that perspective, what he has is different. But like the massage girls gotta watch out for too. Not saying that that's his case, but a good portion of the massage parlors, the women there do some of the similar things that the girls in the go-go bars do, or the girls in freelancers do. They do similar things in those back rooms. Now, if they only get a leg massage, but
I experienced that on my last trip. There was a girl in massage. I looked at her. She was top heavy. She had some milkers on her, and I was like, bruh, like, I gotta see what's going on underneath that shirt. We can't be doing this. And I had to run a little game with her because she was like, oh, and being all shy. Oh, you don't like me, and you don't really want me, and bruh, I had to do a little extra talking, but it didn't take much. And she was definitely, she went upstairs and she got put to work on that massage bed upstairs. So yeah.
I don't think there are any of the massage girls who say, I don't do full body massages. I only do leg massages. You know what I mean? Now, there are some massage parlors where they give you pants to put on, and they don't do that. They don't do any of those extra services. But the average massage parlor you walk in Pattaya, extracurricular activity can go on in the back rooms if you only ask. And sometimes it's promoted once you're back there. So I'm just coming out the movie theater, right? And I see Thai girl. Well, I think she's Cambodian mixed. And she mocked me off something terrible one time. And she's with a brother, and I see her. I turn around, I see her. She see me. She says, and I'm like, cool. You know, I'm not gonna blow you up, but it makes me wonder, like, if he was just a customer, she probably wouldn't care to say hello. 1, 2, he probably wouldn't be taking her to the movies. But she definitely said, when I look back at it, she just gave me the wave high, and she hit me with the, don't say nothing, please. I'm not the type of dude to blow. So I guess she didn't even want me to say hello, because if I would have said hello, you know what happens, where you know I'm from, blah, 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 blah. So, like I said, Pattaya is to have fun. And I know you'll be like, oh, what you talking about? You got Junior and all that. Still in all, Pattaya is just to have fun. Yes, 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 yes. There are certain situations where you could get a girlfriend, or something else could happen, but understand what probably transpired before you and what's going to probably transpire after you. So just keep those things in mind. Without disrespecting anybody, without even putting anybody else down, these are my thoughts. So say, I see Thai guys with beautiful Thai girls a lot, as you should. I sometimes see white guys with beautiful Thai girls. Sometimes even maybe Arab. Not really, no, I ain't gonna say that. But I really see, and I have seen once or twice, black guys with beautiful Thai girls. Like, at least Thai girls who look not only beautiful, but, you know, classy. I don't see a lot of that. I'm not saying, and then I'm also gonna say there's not a lot of us here. It's not. People, and it only seems that way because we're all in the same places. Like, okay, I've been in the mall for a while, seen about three brothers, you know? We're not here in numbers like Australians, Europeans, Russians, even probably white Americans. We're not here like that, you know? We're not here. So you're not gonna see a lot of it, but I don't know if that contributes to not seeing us with a lot of beautiful, like, I mean, you know, classy, gorgeous Thai women. I don't see much of that. I don't see much of that, to be honest. We got some decent ones, some nice ones, but gorgeous, classy girls, nah. And I guess, you know, how many real classy guys are here? You know? I guess you could say a lot of these guys wouldn't have classy girls in America, not so much, you know? But, okay. The last thing I want to say before I wrap this all up is this. In Thailand, Pattaya, you're not going to have any problems with any Thai man, for the most part. You ain't going to have no problems with an Indian. You're going to have no problems with an Arab. And you ain't going to have no problems with any European, Australian, white guy. Sad to say. Like, the only people who are going to have problems with you or talk shit about you is other black men and a little, you know, ratchet chicks that everybody fucks with. Those are the only people that you're going to have problems with here in Pattaya. And that says a lot. Like, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with pretty much mostly everything you said in the video. I can't lie. I thought I disagree with a bit more, but I actually agree with pretty much everything you said there, Zoe. I pretty much agree with all that in that last bit as well. I try and reflect on my 4 trips out there. I've not had any issues with really anyone. I will say, though, white dudes tend to stare at you the most, in my experience. I think they tend to be like the most kind of looking at you. Like, most of they tend to look hard, in my experience. Like, I think they tend to be more kind of like looking, seeing what you're doing. Of course, if you see a black guy there, he's going to be looking at you as well, but that makes more sense because you're both black and he's kind of checking. I mean, I do it too. I look and I'm like, okay, we'll see working with over there. We notice each other because there's not many of us, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of look to each other to kind of get a signal of like what the tempo is, what the temperature is, and in general, you know, it's a smart thing to do. So I don't think, you know, it's too crazy, so long as we're not mean mugging each other. But, you know, yeah, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I agree with what he said about the classy thing. That's just, you know, he's not wrong, but, you know, you'll notice that's just the thing really globally a lot of the time. When I was in Japan, it was the same. Like, I saw black guys there with Japanese girls. Not many, but I would see them a couple times. And the times I saw it, the girls were attractive, hot even in some cases, but they weren't classy. You could definitely tell they were of the pike of variety. You could definitely tell they were a hoe, like, in a sense, or they might not be a prostitute straight up in those countries, but you could tell definitely, like, their party goers. They go to the hip hop clubs. They definitely get smashed by black dudes, like, that come through. You know what I'm saying? Like, if some of these dudes were to whip out the camera and slap that chick on a vlog, there's going to be niggas who's been out there in the comment section like, oh, I know her from such and such. I used to hear her. Yeah, I can text her right now. You know, like, it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. So, but yeah, we're talking classy. Yeah, it's tougher for a lot of dudes to pull up. But I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth. You know, like he said, is there a lot of classy guys going out there? Of all races, I mean, the average, I think Pattaya attracts a lot of pookies. And I don't just mean like black men. Like, I'm talking just the pookies of all races. You go out there, you see the Russian dudes, they're aggressive, tatted up, you know what I'm saying, acting like degenerate, some of them. Like, you see the English guys out there, drunk out of their mind, doing foolishness, stupidness. Australian, same. Like, it's just, it attracts a lot of just dysfunctional, degenerate motherfuckers. Even if it's people who generally are quite decent, they go and wild out there because they can. So it just attracts that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be a more debaucherous type of place, and it is what it is. That's what they want to design it as. That's what they advertise it as, and that's why niggas is going. So I ain't mad at them. But yeah, I wouldn't say Pattaya is the place if you're trying to look for the classiest of the class. But yeah, with that being said, man, that's my reaction pretty much to it. I agree with mostly everything you're saying. I might have to, you know, discuss some of these topics at length in my own separate like little videos. I definitely though massively agree on that point to do with the types of chicks that are gonna be mostly what black guys are dealing with. 100% real, 100% facts. So yeah, I agree on that. And yeah, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Antagonist out.